I stared at my reflection in the bathroom mirror, barely recognizing the woman looking back at me. At 32, I should have felt alive, vibrant, desired. Instead, I felt like furniture in my own home. "Maya, I'm heading out," Daniel called from downstairs. I didn't respond. What was the point? He wouldn't wait for an answer anyway. The front door clicked shut. No goodbye kiss. No, "have a good day." Just the sound of his car pulling out of the driveway, leaving me alone in the house we'd bought together 8 years ago. 3 months. That's how long it had been since Daniel really touched me. Not a forehead kiss or an absent-minded pat on the shoulder, but actually touched me with passion, with need, with the kind of desire that made me feel like I existed. I cooked dinners he ate while scrolling through work emails. I asked about his day and got one-word answers. Fine, busy, tired. That morning, standing in that bathroom, I made a decision that would destroy everything. I grabbed my phone and searched for gyms near me. The ad that popped up promised transformation and personal attention from expert trainers. Personal attention. God, when was the last time I'd felt that? I booked my first session before I could talk myself out of it. "You're holding back." Ethan's hand steadied my elbow as I struggled through another set of weights. His touch was warm, confident, deliberate, so different from Daniel's distracted half-hugs. "I'm trying," I said, breathless. "Trying isn't enough." He stepped closer, close enough that I could smell his cologne. "You need to stop living in your head and start living in your body." I looked up at him. 28, dark hair, perfectly sculpted physique, and those green eyes that seemed to see straight through every defense I'd built. "You think too much?" He continued, his voice low. "I can see it. You're afraid of taking up space, of being too much. But your body? It's capable of so much more than you think." My heart hammered. When was the last time Daniel had looked at me like this? When had he last really seen me? "Good," Ethan said, smiling as I completed the set. "That's what I'm talking about. You just needed someone to push you." After the session, he caught me at the door. "Stay for coffee?" I should have said no. I should have recognized the danger in the way he looked at me, in the way my stomach flipped when he smiled. "Sure," I heard myself say. We sat in the gym's small cafe, and Ethan asked me questions Daniel had stopped asking years ago. "What do you want from life, Maya?" I don't know. I used to have dreams, but what? Life happened. Marriage, career, responsibilities. "That's not an answer," he leaned forward. "What makes you happy? Right now, today, what would make you feel alive?" I couldn't answer. I'd forgotten what happiness felt like. "Your husband," Ethan said carefully. "Does he know how incredible you are?" "Daniel's. He's busy. He works hard." "That's not what I asked." His fingers brushed against mine across the table. I should have pulled away. I didn't. "You deserve someone who sees you, Maya. Really sees you." I left the gym that day feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Wanted. It happened on a Friday evening. Daniel texted, "Working late again. Don't wait up." I stared at the message, feeling the familiar ache of loneliness settle in my chest. My phone buzzed again. "Ethan, finished for the day. Know a great Italian place if you're free." I should have gone home. I should have heated up leftovers and watched Netflix alone, like I'd done countless Friday nights before. Instead, I texted back, "Send me the address." The restaurant had dim lighting and wine that loosened the knot of tension I'd been carrying for months. Ethan leaned across the table, his eyes never leaving mine. "You're beautiful, Maya. You deserve someone who sees that every single day." "I'm married," I whispered, but the words felt hollow. "Are you, though?" he challenged. "Or are you just sharing space with someone who's forgotten you exist?" The words hit like a punch to the gut because they were true. "His apartment's close," Ethan said softly. "Just one more drink, no pressure." I knew what one more drink meant. I knew exactly where this was heading. "Okay," I said. His apartment was 10 minutes away. Modern, minimalist, nothing like the cluttered house Daniel and I shared. Ethan poured wine, and we stood close in his kitchen. "I shouldn't be here," I said, even as my body leaned toward his. "Then leave." He didn't move, didn't pressure me. "But I think you're here because you're tired of being invisible." He was right. God help me, he was right. When his lips met mine, when his hands traced patterns across my skin that Daniel hadn't touched in months, I stopped lying to myself. I wanted this. I wanted to feel desired, wanted, needed. We fell into bed, and for those hours, I forgot everything, my guilt, my vows, my marriage. I forgot everything except the way Ethan made me feel. Afterward, lying in his arms, I should have felt remorse. Instead, I felt awakened. "This stays between us," I said, already planning my excuse for Daniel. Ethan smiled, kissing my shoulder. Of course, our little secret. I didn't notice the small camera hidden in the bookshelf, its red light blinking silently in the darkness. The affair continued for 3 months. I became an expert at deception, deleting texts, creating fake gym schedules, showering immediately after seeing Ethan. Twice a week, sometimes at his apartment, sometimes at hotels. At home, Daniel moved through our house like a ghost. Part of me wanted him to notice the new lingerie, the extra makeup, my sudden passion for fitness. He never did. My best friend Sophia noticed, though. "You're different," she said over lunch, studying me with her lawyer's analytical gaze. Happier, but also on edge. "What's going on?" "Nothing. Just the gym. Endorphins." "Maya." Her tone sharpened. "I've known you since college. Don't bullshit me." The secret burned inside me, desperate to escape. "I'm fine, Soph, really." She didn't believe me, but she let it go. That night, Daniel actually spoke to me at dinner. Marcus invited us to his lake house next month, just the two of us. The timing was terrible. Ethan and I had planned a weekend trip. "That sounds nice," I said, guilt twisting my stomach. Daniel smiled, the first real smile in months. "Good. I know I've been distant. I want to fix that." Later, I texted Ethan that we'd need to reschedule. His response came immediately. "Can't wait that long to see you. Tomorrow. My place. I have a surprise." I should have been cautious about that word, surprise. I wasn't. I arrived at Ethan's apartment expecting the usual passion. Instead, I found him sitting on his couch, laptop open, expression unreadable. "What's the surprise?" I asked. He turned the laptop toward me. This. The screen showed a video player paused on an image of his bedroom. My stomach dropped. "What is this?" "Press play." My hands trembled as I clicked. The video showed us, me and Ethan, in his bed, 3 weeks ago. The audio was crystal clear. Horror crashed over me. "What the fuck, Ethan? Why would you record this?" "Insurance," he said calmly, the charming mask slipping away. "You're not the first married woman I've trained, Maya. You're just the latest. Delete it. Right now." "Delete it?" He laughed. "There are 17 videos, actually. Every time we were together. Different angles. High quality." I felt like I was drowning. "What do you want?" $50,000. Transfer it by the end of the week, and these videos disappear forever. "If not," he shrugged. "I'm sure Daniel would be very interested." "You fucking psychopath." "Name-calling won't help you. Neither will threatening me. I've done this before, and trust me, paying is easier than the alternative." I ran from his apartment, barely making it to my car before vomiting in the parking lot. $50,000. Money Daniel and I had saved for years. How could I explain needing that amount? How could I get it without him finding out? That night, I lay beside Daniel, staring at the ceiling, wondering if this was how my life ended. I had 5 days to get $50,000. Our savings, $32,000. Not enough. I couldn't ask Sophia. She'd demand to know why. My mother would never understand. On the 3rd day, desperation pushed me to search Ethan's name online. That's when I found Jessica's blog, How My Personal Trainer Destroyed My Marriage. She described everything, the affair, the recordings, the blackmail. She'd paid $20,000. Ethan sent the videos anyway. I contacted her immediately. We met at a coffee shop, 2 women bonded by the same predator. "He's done this to at least 5 women I know of," Jessica said. She was 26, blonde, with eyes that held the same devastation I saw in my mirror. "Did you go to the police?" "I tried, but I participated willingly. The recordings show consent. My lawyer said it would be my word against his." My heart sank. "So there's nothing we can do?" "Tom, the gym owner, doesn't know what Ethan's doing. If we go to him together, maybe he'll fire him. It won't erase the videos, but it might stop him." Jessica's story taught me something crucial. Paying Ethan wouldn't save me. I had 3 choices: pay and lose everything, refuse and lose everything, or tell Daniel the truth before Ethan could weaponize it. That night at dinner, I opened my mouth to confess. But Daniel smiled at me and said, "I'm sorry I've been so distant. I'm going to do better. I love you, Maya." I felt my heart shatter. I planned to tell him that weekend at Marcus's lake house, but I was a coward. Saturday morning, we took a boat out on the water. Daniel was relaxed, happy, more present than he'd been in years. "I've been thinking," he said, his hand covering mine. "Maybe we should try for a baby." "I'm ready." "If you are." "A baby. With the man I'd betrayed." "Daniel, My phone buzzed. "Unknown number. Time's up, Maya. Since you didn't pay, I'm sending your husband a little gift. Check your email." Panic seized me. I grabbed Daniel's phone. "Maya, what are you doing? Please, just give me a second." Too late. His email was open. New message. Subject line, "About your wife." Daniel took the phone back, confused. "What is this?" I watched his face as he opened the email, saw the video files, read Ethan's message. "Your wife Maya has been my client for 6 months. I thought you should know what your money has been paying for. She's been very dedicated to her training." Daniel's face went blank. He pressed play. I wanted to die. I wanted the boat to sink, the water to swallow me whole, anything to escape the moment when Daniel's eyes filled with a pain so profound it physically hurt to witness. "Daniel, please. Don't." His voice was hollow. "Don't say anything." He turned the boat around in silence. The drive home took 2 hours. He didn't speak, didn't look at me, didn't acknowledge my existence. His silence was worse than any words could have been. Daniel moved to Marcus's apartment that night. He blocked my number. 2 days later, Marcus called. "He wants a divorce," Marcus said. His therapist's voice professionally neutral but unmistakably cold. "Papers by the end of the week. Can I talk to him? Please." "Maya, he's not ready. Give him space." "I love him. I made a horrible mistake, but I love him." "Then you should have thought about that before you fucked your personal trainer. Daniel is my best friend. I've watched him worship you for 8 years. He didn't deserve this." He hung up. Sophia came over that evening after I'd finally told her everything. "You need a lawyer," she said bluntly. "And you need to file a report about Ethan, even if it doesn't lead anywhere. It doesn't matter anymore. Daniel knows everything. It matters because Ethan is still out there, still targeting women." Sophia contacted Tom the next day, presenting evidence of Ethan's blackmail scheme. Tom fired him immediately, though without police charges, Ethan would likely just move to another gym, another city. Daniel's sister Lily showed up at my door. "I always knew you weren't good enough for him," she said, venom in her voice. "He defended you constantly. Guess I was right all along." "Lily, please. Don't. Just sign the papers when they come and let him move on." She left me standing in the doorway of the house that now felt like a mausoleum. That night, I sat in our bedroom and let myself truly feel the weight of what I'd done. Not what Ethan had done to me, what I had done to Daniel. I destroyed everything because I felt invisible, because I craved attention, because I was too selfish and cowardly to communicate with my husband. This wasn't Ethan's fault. This was mine. The divorce papers arrived on a Thursday. Daniel was offering a fair settlement, keep the house, split the savings, no alimony required. Even in his devastation, he was decent. It made everything hurt worse. I started seeing Dr. Karen Lee, a therapist Sophia recommended. "I don't deserve forgiveness," I told her in our first session. "You're here because you're in pain," Dr. Lee said. "And because somewhere inside you, you want to understand why you made these choices." Over weeks, we unpacked everything: my fear of confrontation, my pattern of seeking external validation, my inability to communicate needs. "He was distant, yes," Dr. Lee said. "But instead of telling him you were lonely, instead of fighting for your marriage, you chose escape." I know I'm the villain in this story. You're not a villain, Maya. You're a flawed human who made devastating choices and now has to live with the consequences. The question is, what are you going to do with this pain? 3 months after Daniel moved out, I ran into him at a grocery store. He looked thinner, tired, but also somehow lighter. "Maya," he said, carefully neutral. "How are you?" "I'm surviving. Daniel, I don't need to hear it again. I've read your emails." "I know you're sorry. Are you?" "I'm seeing someone. Nothing serious yet, but I'm moving forward." It hurt. God, it hurt. "I'm glad. You deserve that." He nodded and walked away. I let him go. 6 months after the divorce, I stood in the house we'd shared, the one I'd be selling next month, and tried to recognize the woman I'd become. I'd quit my marketing job and taken a position at a nonprofit, helping victims of manipulation and abuse. Jessica and I had become friends, bonding over shared trauma. We'd started a blog warning women about predatory trainers. It wouldn't undo our past, but it gave our pain purpose. I'd cut my hair short, started therapy twice a week, learned to sit with my guilt instead of running from it. Sophia stayed loyal, though our friendship had changed. I don't condone what you did, she told me, but I don't abandon people I love when they're at their lowest. My mother eventually learned the truth through family gossip. You threw away a good man, she said. I raised you better than this. I know, Mom. I have to live with that every day. I heard through Marcus that Daniel was engaged. The news hit hard, but I was genuinely happy for him. He'd moved on, built a new life with someone who hopefully deserved him. On the day I finally moved out, I left an envelope on the kitchen counter addressed to Daniel's new fiancé. Inside, he's a good man. He deserves honesty, communication, and faithfulness. Give him the things I couldn't. Treasure him. I walked out of that house into bright sunlight. I was 33, divorced, carrying shame I'd never fully shed. But I was also stronger, wiser, and committed to becoming someone I could respect. I'd been the villain in Daniel's story. Now I was writing my own one, where I faced my failures, learned from my devastation, and slowly, painfully, rebuilt myself into someone better. It wouldn't erase what I'd done, but it was all I could do. And maybe, eventually, that would be enough. The end.